Bill has his camera. Watch the video. That's how Bill goes. He never goes anywhere without his papa. Always thinking of somebody else. He wanted to do a mother. That's why we're not.
I just got my hearing aid.
Let's get a hearing aid. So now you're going to hear what we say. Hello, Bill. Hello to Bill. I know, really.
Won't even look at me.
Shaking his
Hey, congratulations. I don't know, you seem like it's the right guy.
That's why I got on. That's why it's on my neck. So I can just. My thought. You better get no, but they're not. No, they're not. You know. So you were surprised, I would imagine. Gee, it's your son like that.
And kiss was some nice, not me.
Thank you. That's what it is.
Hey, Bill, and kiss was some nice, not me.
What I'd like to do is introduce the head table so you can see who you're staring at during the meal. And already we have people leaving the table in the hall. But I'd like to introduce, first of all, not in seating order, but it's with a great deal of pleasure we have the head table tonight, the pastor of St. Thomas's Church, Reverend Robert Brown. And then for the rest of the table, starting to my left, is, well, actually, the second one in is last year's good guy, good girl, Phyllis Vieira. And on her left is her husband, Joe Vieira. Seated to her right is my wife, Joe Cunningham. I'm the one who you grow to hate as the evening goes on. I'm Harry Cunningham. Let's do that again. I'm Harry Cunningham. And if I am elected, I will. No. Seated to my right is the 1998 good guy, Mr. Bill Ross. To his right, the charming Doris Ross. the aforementioned Father Brown. Bill has one daughter who stomped out of the hall. Is that what she did, Bill?
We lost already.
She went home to put the grandchild, Emily, to bed. She will be back. But her husband, who does not miss a meal at any time, is here. This is Mr. Ben Cross. So what we're going to do is going to ask Father Brown in a second to get up here and give the blessing. And you're going to mull. A lot of people have asked me questions before I get up here, and so you can think about these questions, which will be answered after the meal. And the questions are, why Bill Ross was the number one question, I think. Second one is, who is Bill Ross? Third one is, who cares who he is? The fourth is, what's for dessert? And the last question is, will we be home in time to watch the Nancy Kerrigan special? These questions will be answered after the meal, but right now, Father Brown.
Which one?
Right there, Father.
Thank you. Let us pray. Father, we give you thanks for this occasion, that we can honor someone whom we like and whom we love. Remember us all as we come here to gather for the good camaraderie. Let this time be a beneficial time for all of us. And bless us, O Lord, in these thy gifts which we're about to receive from your bounty through Christ our Lord.
Amen. Thank you, Father. didn't pronounce their last name or even announce their last name. Their name is Cross. That's Ross with a C in front of it. And I'm told for their wedding gift when they got married that Doris gave her engraved Tupperware to them, simply adding a C in front of it. But notice the head table up there, there's some religious significance to it. Take Father Brown. Father Brown is a holy man here in town, and it's probably the highlight of his life. If you notice, he's sitting between a carpenter and a cross. Okay, the first speaker tonight is Bill's only brother, his brother George. Now, George is going to add adage to the old proverb, he's not heavy, he's... Now, where is he? George? By the way, the answers to the questions while George is on his way up. Why Bill Ross? If you know Bill, you know why. Who is Bill Ross? If you're here, you know why. Who cares? Everybody who's met this man cares. What's for dessert? Cheesecake. And Nancy Kerrigan is not on tonight. George Ross.
What do I got here? Thank you, Governor. What a tough act to follow, right? Hey, by the way, Bill, we're in the cheap seats out back. On behalf of Bill's family, we are very proud to be here tonight. Get this thing set. Oops. Guess not. Maybe I'm not. What do you got, Harry? Need some help? Sorry about that.
Yeah, I can tell he's filming, but you got a lot of it. Okay. Anything else I do?
There you go. Yeah, thank you very much.
Good.
Let me start again. Thank you. On behalf of Bill's family, we are indeed very proud to be here tonight to see Bill honored as Wilmington's Good Guy for 1998. As family, we know he joins a great list of previous winners who have made Wilmington a better town. To us, Bill has always been more than a good guy, with his caring, his sharing, his advice, his love, and especially his help. He has been there for us for a long, long time, and we are indeed grateful. Thanks, Bill. I'm sure I speak for many others who are here tonight who have benefited from his good deeds and his many skills, and who simply want to say, thanks, Bill. Apparently, Bill, we are in the minority. According to a survey taken tonight, these are the 5 reasons why most people are here. Number 5, it's Friday, it's Wilmington, nothing's happening. Number 4, where else can you get a great meal and cheap entertainment for $20? Number 3, I get my jollies watching people make fools of themselves. Now, I got a feeling that's going to play well here tonight. Number 2, I just can't believe that they would give this award to Bill Ross. And finally, the number 1 reason, it's payback time. Growing up with Bill in Malden was a treat. With our 2 sisters, parents, grandparents, a cousin, dogs, cats, 2 or 3 dozen chickens, and a parakeet that was always flying loose, we shared a relatively small colonial home with limited space. Bill and I shared a bedroom, a bureau, closet, and half our clothes. One of the things we liked to do when we were kids was jump up and down on the mattress trying to hit our heads on the ceiling. We all done that, right? In Bill's case, it worked too many times. This resulted in two things. It permanently stunted his growth, and it helps explain his strange behavior at times. We played the usual childhood games: tag, hide and seek, sports, marbles. In fact, before tonight's over, you'll be convinced most of the people up here have lost theirs. Bill, though, was different. He was into dirt. He collected worms. He loved them. He had boxes of them. In fact, they resemble the first condos that were ever built. As a young teenager, Bill decided he would tackle his first construction project. He dug the entire underpinning from the back of our house, nearly causing it to tip over. Well, he shored it up by himself, built a new foundation, which surprisingly stood up. Over the next few years, he continued to do various projects around the house, most of which resulted in permanent damage, and the only concern the family was wondering about, what was going to happen first? Was Bill going to destroy the house, or was Urban Renewal going to take it over? Ultimately, Urban Renewal won. Some people ask me about Bill's age. Well, I want to give you a few facts to ponder. He was born before World War II. His father's name was George Washington. His grandfather's name was Moses. His maternal grandparents were Joseph and Mary. So that should make him somewhere between 50 and what, 2,000? I take a look at this guy, to me, he doesn't look a day over what, 85? A couple of years ago, I had the opportunity, now there's a word for the 90s, opportunity, to work with Bill on some of his various projects. I'd like to share a couple of these experiences with you. This one is best entitled Getting the Job Done. We were putting the finishing touches on a beautiful addition here in town. It was getting rather late at night, and it was quite apparent that we may not have enough wallpaper to finish the job. Now, the homeowner made it quite clear to us that they had bought enough of it, and as far as they was concerned, it was our problem. Well, Bill said not to worry, and he began gathering up all the loose pieces of excess paper. Now, on that last roughly 2 by 3 square foot area of wall, we have no less than 9 perfectly matched and perfectly cut pieces with an X-Acto knife without a blemish. If I didn't see it, I wouldn't believe it. As a matter of fact, I was at that home recently. I snuck out into that beautiful room. I look up on that wall, and I still can't see those cut pieces. Bill, it was a testimony to your skill. I have one of those bad news, good news stories. Up in the Golden Hills, in the Saugus-Wakefield line, is a beautiful pond surrounded by some very nice homes. Bill says it was a great parking place for lovers years ago, but I think we'll take his word for that. There'll be enough hot water here tonight. Now, our job was to paint a nice embankment ranch adjacent to the pond. Now, normally a house like this takes maybe 1 or 2 gallons per side, but maybe 8 or 10 in total. Not this baby. This house soaked up paint like a sponge does to water. Before we were through, Bill, we put what, maybe 20, 21 gallons of paint in that house? Right. Well, I was talking to Bill the other day, and he got a call from the owner with some bad news. The house is slowly sinking into those Golden Hills. But there is good news. The neighbor behind him, he's ecstatic. Pretty soon he's going to have waterfront property. See that smile on this guy's face? Now, let me tell you a little bit about how it gets there. Bill and Doris thoroughly enjoy having friends to their home. They're wonderful hosts and they really enjoy it. To be sociable, Bill has Matt Cain make him a special drink. It's probably best we don't know what goes into it. It's usually what is left on the bar that nobody else is drinking. Well, the result of that is that it puts a smile on Bill's face, which generally lasts all night and half the next day. Well, Bill, your many friends who have enjoyed your hospitality would love to see that smile last a heck of a lot longer, and we think we found a way. So may I present you on behalf of all your friends, please enjoy this in the very best of health. Please open that, Bill.
Hands up, Bill.
That's his real size, too. One final thing, Bill. To us, you are indeed more than a good guy. You are indeed a great guy, and may God bless you.
Thank you, George. Now that you met Bill's twin, we're going to introduce the rest of the family, who won't be speaking. The woman responsible for both Bill and Bob is Margaret Ross. Now to give Bill's mother-in-law equal time for Mother's Day, Mary DiCarlo, Bill's mom-in-law. Bill has two sisters, Barbara, who's with her husband, Red and Barbara Stefanillo. Stefanello. They changed their name. Stefanello now. Very good. This is the night of tongue twisters. Can I stop at Louie and Mary? Louie and Mary DeLeva. How's that? No, George wanted to get the program started, so we went a little bit out of turn as we normally do not do. I was going to save till later in the program to introduce the non-Wilmingtonites to how the good guy, first of all, became a function here in town and why it's perpetuated itself as it has. In 1967, a group in town felt that there was a certain citizen who was an extremely good fellow. He was good to the town, he was good to the civics groups, he was good to the youth, and he was just an all-around good guy. So he also had a restaurant, by the way, and that's Rocco DiPasquale, who's with us tonight. Now this group went down to Rocco's restaurant and said, Rocco, come on out of the kitchen, we want to say hi, and here's a plaque. It was a $4 plaque, and they ate $27 worth of food that night, each. But that started it, and it's been 31 years running, and each and every year we've chosen a good guy. And the good guy is simply chosen by people writing in, friends, family writing in, telling the good guy committee, which is made up of former good guys, why they think their nominee should win. And they describe his duties. The good guy committee then votes, And they vote by not the number of letters. It's something to do with the number, something to do with the quality of the letters. But each year we pick a good guy. And there's a million good guys out there. And it's a difficult choice, and this year was a difficult choice again. There were some other good nominees. In fact, this year there were 7 nominees, and Bill Ross came out on top, which, you know, he well should. The reason he did is going to be explained in a couple of letters I'd like to read, if I may. We would like to nominate William Ross for the 1998 Good Guy Award. Bill fills the criteria of a good guy in many ways. He's first to volunteer his services in any way he can. Villanova Hall was in need of a roof. The building was close to being condemned. Bill inspected the problem and came up with a solution, helping keep the much-needed building open until major renovations could be started. This was done on Bill's free time and at no cost to the parish. He cares for everyone, whether he knows you or you're a complete stranger. He will quietly provide his free time, materials, services, etc. for any friend or for any stranger. He makes sure everyone is taken care of, placing himself last no matter what the situation. He will help a stranger for free just because he feels this person is on a fixed income or out of work, etc. Working at a job site once, he noticed the next door neighbor needed work on her house. He made many repairs to her home, did not charge her, and has repeatedly checked her home over the years to make sure she has a warm home to live in. From what we can figure, he is doing this for several elderly people in town. When asked if he charges for materials, he will frown at you and say, "I think they are on a fixed income," or "They don't look like they can afford it." Bill Ross is one of a large group of friends who volunteer their time to the church, civic organizations, and town committees. You can roll us all into one, and we will still not match his energy or his heart size. This is signed by a neighbor, and I'll just not read that. Another one, this is only the second one I'm going to read tonight, Bill. They're all very similar. We have personally known Mr. Ross for many years. In our opinion, he has always exemplified the special qualities of a strong family, religious and community values and ethics. He has volunteered and donated his time to many civic, community, and religious projects and services. He is an active 4th-degree member of the Knights of Columbus, and although not a member of the Lions Club, he has volunteered his time to support many projects the Lions Club has undertaken in this community. Mr. Ross is an active parishioner in St. Thomas Church and leads an active Christian lifestyle. Mr. Ross is always willing to go the extra mile to help someone in need of his time or in need of his services without question. These are just a few of the many reasons we feel that Mr. William Ross deserves this year's Good Guy Award, and thus he did. The second speaker tonight will be again the aforementioned Father Brown, who outside being the pastor of St. Thomas and Villanova Parish here in town, is also the chaplain of the Knights of Columbus, which is their hall we're in tonight. And he has pointed out he has many authorities here in town, one of which he can close this hall anytime he wishes to. So give him a nice round of applause so we can stay.
Thank you. First and foremost, I want to congratulate Bill on the award that he's receiving tonight and the accolades that go with it, because I firmly believe he is very deserving of it. This gathering this evening and the tributes that we give to Bill, I know for the evening is traditionally done in the form of a roast. And I have to tell you in all honesty, I cannot roast Bill. I have far too much respect for him. Now, Harry here is another story altogether. It is good and wonderful that you have chosen him to be the master of ceremonies for the evening. You all know that he is a raconteur and a very diplomatic person for introductions and everything else. He was very diplomatic at the beginning of the meal when Michelle and Ben and I were down at the table there, and before things started, and we sat down at our seats, and Michelle very logically sat next to her mother, Ben next to Michelle, and I had the seat at the end. When our diplomatic master of ceremonies came down and told us to rearrange ourselves, that I was to be next to Doris, Michelle was to be next to me, and that Ben had to take the seat at the end because a gentleman had to sit at the end. So we rearranged ourselves, and truly a gentleman is sitting at the end. And in the middle, and here, and at the far end also. But we came here this evening to honor Bill. All of you know Bill, and you know that he is a devoted family man. You know also from experience that he is a practicing Catholic Christian. He has been very much involved in St. Thomas's Parish over the years and the affairs that St. Thomas has put on, as being a very good worker in all of them, working right to the very end to close things down as they should be closed down with good order and making sure it's done properly. The measure of a man is how he takes care of others. Personally, Bill has taken care of many others. It has been mentioned in the letters that Harry has read from the podium that Bill has taken care of people who are in need, and has done so both silently and anonymously. That's the measure of his manhood, and it is a good measure that he has made. I'm a religious person, and I stand here as the pastor of St. Thomas and the chaplain of the Knights of Columbus. Therefore, I'm going to have to go into my mode and make a comparison. And the comparison I wish to make is that I think we should all look to see how the life of St. Joseph was lived, and see certain references there that you can see where Bill's life might be modeled on it. Joseph was a carpenter in the building trades, and so was Bill. Evidently he was good at it because he was able to keep a family together in 2 countries. Bill too has been good at it. At the beginning of his marriage to Mary, now I know this is a roast, and I do not mean this in any way as a roast, but the marriage at its very beginning was with a troublesome wife. That has nothing to do with anybody here at the table. But it was difficult at the beginning, and Joseph had to solve the problems of bringing a child and a mother into his family, as well as making sure that the child was born in the proper place for history to recognize it, and then to see that that child was saved from calamity and death from an opposing force, even to going to a foreign country and there taking up another life altogether. And then finally coming back to his homeland and coming to a different place again for the safety of his family. All of this, too, was done in silence. Because in the scriptures, we don't ever have a word from Joseph himself. No boasting, no looking for applause, no looking to see that things would be done for him, but rather he was the one person who cared for others and saw that their needs were attended to. I see comparisons here with Bill, and I'm very proud to be his pastor. I hope he's as proud to be my parishioner. God bless you, Bill.
Now, as customary, after Father Brown speaks, there will be a collection. I'm only kidding, Father. I've lost my notes. The next speaker, representing the town of Wilmington, is a selectman by the name of Mike Newhouse. But before Mike Newhouse comes up here, I'd like to you know, kind of say something, and it's not very flattering. Mike embarrassed me a little bit today. I opened the hall up at 3:30 this afternoon to put the chairs and tables up, and Mike Newhouse was standing out there. And I said, "Why so early, Mike?" He says, "Harry, I want to sit in Jim Maselli's seat." Now, speaking of Jim Maselli, I am crushed. Jim Maselli's not here tonight. One whole sheet of short jokes. One whole sheet of ball jokes. One whole sheet of weight jokes. Gone. Mike Newhouse. Oh, wait a minute. Where's the sheet of ball jokes? Sorry.
You stole my thunder with that one, Harold.
Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry.
That's okay. First of all, let me thank you for including me. And I just have one brief statement to make about Bill. One thing that struck me that his brother George said was that Bill has made this a better town through his efforts. And I think in addition to that, Bill, it's people like you that actually make it more than a better town, but you make Wilmington a better community. Bill, if I could have you stand, and I'm unwrapping here for you the traditional token of the town's appreciation for your efforts, the Paul Revere Bowl, which I'm sure that you're familiar with that history. And I do present that to you on behalf of the Board of Selectmen and the entire town. Once again, congratulations and thank you for all you do.
Thanks, Mike. The next speaker tonight is a person who fixes microphones. Bill has many hobbies. Bill still has many hobbies. And one of them is Bill is an avid card player. And he belongs to a prestigious group in town called the Ocas Poker Club. And representing the Ocas Poker Club is Mr. Bob Doyle. Tonight, Bob, okay? Well, that's Bob's time is up. Bye-bye. Jesus, my mother of God.
Hey, if a selectman can do it, I can do it too. Bill, we're here to congratulate you, but I've prepared a few words. We may be a while. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am here representing the Ocas Poker Club, a group of 7 who have played poker together for many years. I am here to honor Bill, our good friend. But first, after many years of observing Harry as an MC, with all his glib remarks and all his funny taunts, I'd like to show you Harry at 10 o'clock at a card game. Enough said. Where's got a little gift for you. I'd like to read it to you. It's a plaque. If I could see it, I'd read it. Oh, it's upside down. The Ocas Polka Club presents this to Bill Ross, the good guy, for being such a good guy and for all his donations he's made to us over the years. I also have another present, Bill. And this is, it took great thought for this, but it's from the club too. And I'll read it to you. The Ocas Polka Club, General Rule 3.2.119. If, after a majority vote is determined that a member is such a poor polka player, all of his losings shall be returned. This is by order of the board. And would like to present you with this box of money too, Bill. Enjoy it. Doris can help him spend it. Thank you. Look at the money.
Thank you, Bob.
The picture and the money, Bill.
Bob Doyle.
Thanks, Harry.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Bill, clean this mess up, will you? The next speaker, son-in-law, Mr. Ben Cross. I'm not coming over to get you. You're gonna walk up here.
Thank you. It's been said, I think, and you probably all have heard this, that there's three kinds of people in the world: those that watch things happen, those that wonder what happens, and those that make things happen. And I think we can all attest to the fact that Bill is the one that makes things happen. I know this from personal experience. And I was thinking about tonight how I was going to be able to share an illustration with you. Could I talk about when we put custom hardwood floors in our house, or built a pantry in a 19-hour day, or any one of a number of things that he's taken that have been ideas and he's turned them into reality. And I thought one example that might prove useful was from our first Christmas. Now, when Michelle and I moved into our first home, we were like most new young homeowners. We didn't know diddly about home. It was probably the complete opposite. We had very high levels of excitement and probably low levels of expertise about owning a house. And Bill would come over on Saturdays. What are we going to do? We painted the living room. We painted the bathroom. He taught me how to caulk in the bathroom, and why it's important to have a clean furnace, and all these other little things that make a big difference. And so we didn't have to go out and call up a plumber, call up an electrician, call up a carpenter. We bought our house in September, and we were just really gung-ho with all the help he was giving us that we were going to have a big holiday family Christmas at our house. And one of the ideas that Michelle and I had, we were going to have a live Christmas tree. That would be a really neat thing to do, a live Christmas tree, because that way we could always look out in our yard and we'd have a living memory of of our first Christmas together. Well, Bill thought it was a bit of a crazy idea. It was more money, you know. It was crazy. I mean, you know, how are you gonna have a Christmas tree in your house that's living? But he's the kind of person that helps people realize their dreams, that really helps you. It doesn't matter what he thinks, he helps you to realize those things, make them happen. So he and I went down to this nursery, and we picked out this tree. I mean, it was a big triangle shape. It was Douglas fir, beautiful deep green. We brought it home, I think it was the first week in December. We stored it out in the garage. We had these instructions, you know, we put a little water in it and so forth. We brought it inside the second week of December, in this big old tub, you know, because it's a living tree. You got to keep watering it even while it's in your home. And we just decorated it, and it was fantastic. I mean, he didn't have any problems with the needles falling on the ground because it was a living tree. We had the holiday party, all our friends came by, and wow, what a neat idea. We had the family come over. It was brilliant. I mean, it was a really fabulous holiday. Well, Christmas kind of came and went, and the time came for Bill and I to go out and plant this tree. Now, I don't know how many of you ever tried to plant a tree around December 29th in New England. But it was about 19 degrees that day, and there's some dynamics that came into play. For example, the shovels. They worked great on the snow, but when it came to time to get to the dirt, we had to go into the garage and get our ice picks to break through the top 8 inches, just so we could make the dirt and remove the dirt for the tree. But we did it, and of course, each sharing curses about the sanity of this idea. And we got the tree in. There's another little thing about planting a tree in December. Trees need water. But of course, the hose is shut off because it's the middle of December. So I'm running inside with a 2-gallon bucket filling up with the warm water, coming outside, putting it on the tree, running back inside with a 2-gallon bucket of water and filling up with the warm water. Of course, the water would freeze in about an hour. But nonetheless, when Michelle came home that afternoon, we had that tree out in our yard. There it was, our living memory of our first Christmas. Awesome. And I stayed after that tree, followed the instructions. For a week, I went out and, you know, throwing the water on it at night. I come home from work because it's pitch black in the winter and I'm freezing my fingers off, dumping the water on a darn tree. But nonetheless, we had that tree. Well, winter went and spring came. We had a beautiful yard in North Andover. We had forsythia, azaleas, dogwood, crabapple, and they all started blooming in April, May, yellows and pinks and reds, and in late May, of course, the lilac came. And there was our tree, turning brown. But we wouldn't admit it, no, and we just put a little more water on it, and sure enough, we're gonna stick with it. This was our idea. And Memorial Day kind of came, and the thing just kept getting browner. So Bill said, you know, guys, I think there's a problem here. But you know, it was an idea that we had. And he's a guy that makes things happen for people. And he went back to the nursery, and I wasn't there because he went alone. And I don't know, probably the best attorney out of Harvard Law School couldn't have made a better argument about why there should be some remuneration for that tree. And he came home with this beautiful magnolia tree that we planted there. And today in North Andover, right now is a beautiful memory of that first Christmas from a guy who really makes things happen. So I say thank you to my father-in-law, my teacher, and my friend, Bill Ross.
Mrs. Ross, you lied to me. No, Mom, a lie was told tonight. We were told that you had a son, William, and a son, George. But we've just heard from Logan Airport that another son is flying in from Ireland. Honest, that's what I was told. But before he flies in, the congressman from the 6th District, John Tierney, is here tonight, and he's going to come up and say a few words.
Thank you very much. I'm relieved of all responsibility to be funny tonight because Harry told me on the way in he alternates the speakers. One funny, one serious, one funny, one serious. We've just had funny, Mr. Cross, thank you, and I get to be serious. Let me just say, first of all, that besides congratulating you, sir, I want us to congratulate the entire town and all the people that are here. It's not usual these days that we get to have communities come together for a good, positive reason. At least we don't hear about it often enough, and I just think that you're all to be congratulated, and this community is to be congratulated for thinking to have this event every year and for thinking to single out the person that most deserves this type of award. I think it says a lot for this community and the people in it, so congratulations to yourselves. Now, may I call you Bill and Doris? Thank you. We don't know each other all that well, unfortunately. I want to introduce you to my wife, Patrice, and I'll tell you why in a second. Patrice. On the way down here, I was explaining to Patrice the reason that you are being honored tonight. And we've heard a lot of it already. We've heard how good you are as a family man, how good you are within your church community, all the things that you do for the town and this community at large, giving of your services, often doing some very menial things that others might not do because you just care that much and you're that giving a person. And we've also heard about just how handy you are, how you're able to do almost anything at any occasion. And I, sir, am not. Bill, frankly, I can't do a thing. So Patrice has a list. And she's been working on it in the car all the way down here. And we're hoping that tomorrow being Saturday that maybe you can visit us and take care of that. Back to my serious role for 1 second, if I can. It's my honor to be here tonight, and I want to thank you all for inviting me to be a part of this. I'd like to give you a certificate of special congressional recognition presented to you, William Ross, for the outstanding and invaluable services that you do give to this community. Congratulations.
We're going to have a vote after this. We're going to have a vote after this meeting tonight to find out who has the finest speaking voice. Mr. Tierney, Mr. Cross, a few of the other speakers, fantastic voices. I'm envious, envious. The plane from Logan has been delayed. So I'm going to do something we do later on in the program in an effort to stall for time. It's either that or I could whistle for a while. No, okay. We mentioned how the good guys started. There's a number of good guys here in the hall tonight. I'd like to introduce them, ask them to stand up if they would. The first one, of course, is the original good guy from 1967, Rocco DiPasquale. Rocco's back there. The next man, 1976, a fellow called Frank Safaza. Frank's name... There's an old line. Frank's name, his last name is spelled S-F-E-R-R-A-Z-Z-A. The F is silent. It's too bad. Ah, he beat me to it. We have Jean Muse circled, but she's not here. Jean Muse was here? Jean?
No, not Jean.
You messed up, Phyllis. 1985, Frank Kelly. 1986 was Judy DePalma. 1988 was Paul Bova. 1989 was Ivan Palmer. 1990 was an off year, so they didn't have anybody. 1991 was Irene Brennan. By the way, while you're here and I'm stalling for time, do you think that the master of ceremony should have to pay for his meal? Every year she hits me for my check for my...
Why are you for time? I gotta go to the bathroom.
Bill is going to the bathroom. No, not now. Bill want...
Don't let him go. You haven't introduced me.
I told you, hey, sit down.
Sit.
Bill is up here writing a speech. He asked me if I'd write something for him. Bill, I will not. 1991 was Irene Brennan. 1992, Bob De Palma. 1993, we did run out of good guys.
Hey, hold. What are you talking about?
We did run out of good guys. So they threw Tom Pizarro in. 1994 was Les White. Funny story about Les White. I come up to the podium that night, and the hall was practically empty. And I was embarrassed, and I said to the committee, what happened? And they said they didn't know. It seemed that Les was up here because he spent an awful lot of time with the homeless, fixing their houses and doing things. So they were explaining that to me, and I said, well, what happened? They said, well, we mailed them all an invitation. There was quite a few members of the post office here, though, I remember that night. 1996 was Jim Buckley. 1997, of course, Phyllis Vieira, last year's good guy. And 1998, Bill Ross. I'm waiting for something to happen. Well, let me tell you about my youth. I was about 3 years old. My mom said, you ought to be a good guy someday. Did you hear the one about the... We have. Bill also was quite a fisherman. And representing the fishing group is Mr. George Welton. This is not the plan. We're substituting Mr. Welton, who's a member of the fishing trip group, for Bill Ross. George, you're known as a fill-in.
By the way, Harry, it's Walden.
He keeps changing it. How do I know?
And Billy, I'm sorry that I have to do this. So we'll begin. Oh, can't see. All right. Most of us know how Bill loves to organize any kind of social functions. He usually makes his phone calls about 6 months in advance so he can get the best accommodations. The conversation goes like this. Bill calls, I say hello, Bill asks if I would like to go fishing. I say yes. He says, send me $200. I say, okay. He says, goodbye. 6 months later, I'm on an overnight fishing trip with the boys. It was a party boat owned by the Yankee Fleece that carried approximately 100 seamen with no lifeboats and 7 life jackets for the crew. So off we went, leaving Gloucester and heading for George's Bank. That evening, Bill gave us our sleeping assignments, and I was happy to hear I was in cabin 1, thinking that first cabin is probably the best, and how clever Bill was to book so early. Then I found out Bob Power, Matt Cain, Mike Burns, Bob Stone, Bob Evans, and Bill Ross were all in cabin 1. In fact, half the entire fishing party was in cabin 1. There was one nice thing about this cabin. We all had vibrating berths. Thanks to 2 1,500 horsepower twin diesel engines just on the other side of the wall. After a few hours of breathing the aroma of diesel fuel and listening to the sounds from 2 diesel engines, I finally fell asleep. After I had fallen into a deep sleep, I was suddenly awakened by another strange odor. And there was many strange odors that night. Upon awakening, I found Billy's feet on my pillow. So I quickly tried to recapture the smell of diesel fuel. It smelled better than Bill's feet. Finally, the next morning came, and thank God for that. We all arrived up on the upper deck, not looking too good and unable to hear a sound. All except Bob Power. He was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. We didn't understand why. He was down there with the rest of us. Bob said he didn't have any trouble sleeping. He grabbed a set of earmuffs he found on the door next to the engine room. So, no wonder during the night one of the crew members of the ship came through cabin 1 on his way to the engine room, muttering a few choice words when he did not find his earmuffs. The engine finally stopped and the captain announced it was time to fish. We wanted to use live worms, these live sea worms Bill had brought on board, but we were told by the ship's first mate we have to use the jigs sold by their boat at $12 each. I think they saw us coming, Bill. Not wanting to cause any trouble, we did what we were told. We dropped our fishing lines with the jigs and reached the bottom at about 200 feet. After about 10 minutes, the captain tells us to reel them in. We're moving to another fishing hole. But by this time, Bill had already caught 2 cod, and the rest of us weren't so lucky. On the way up, Matt thought he had hooked a big one, but it was not to be. Matt had tangled with the wrong side. His line was cut, and he came in a little light. Matt, not wanting to quit, purchased another $12 jig. After about 2 hours of drop your lines, reel them in, we're moving, drop your lines, reel them in, we're moving, and $60 later for poor Matt. And Bill now had 10 cod. The rest of us were thrilled when we found out that we still had our jigs. Matt had enough. He was now ready to tie Billy and those so-called fishing village people on the other side of the boat to his line and use them for bait. We did find out later that Matt had purchased the same identical jig 5 different times. He was not the only one who lost their jigs that day. I was down 24 bucks myself, but I said to hell with it, and after 2 losses, I went back to the old-fashioned way, hook, line, and sinker. I bought myself a couple of 12-ounce weights and decided to use Billy's worm. Returning... That was funny. Anyway, returning to Gloucester, Bill stood on the bow waiting for the sight of land, as he surely feared a mutiny was imminent, and was greatly relieved as the trip ended, with his band of men who truly went down to the sea in ships. Financially, that is. I caught 1 fish that day. It was a 5-pound cod. It filleted out to be about a pound, and that night my lovely wife and myself had a $224 dining experience. Thanks to my friend Bill. And from that day forth, whenever Bill mentions a fishing trip, you will see 6 guys go in 6 different directions. We love you, Billy. I got through it, Harry.
Walton, huh? Walton, huh? I know you. While we're waiting for the plane to land at Logan, the proceedings tonight are not being televised live. They are being televised and videotaped later on. And for people who are not familiar with the town of Wilmington, this is shown again and again and again and again and again. But with us tonight are Don and Ron, who do a great job every year. They always manage to grab my poor side, though, for some reason. Evelyn, ready? Evelyn? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bill and George's brother from Ireland. Just get off the plane. With his wife. Okay.
that him? Is that him? Right there. Billy. How are you, Billy? It's good to see you. My God, it's been a long time. Get up here, Billy. How are you? Oh, you look good, Billy. I recognize you anywhere. You're still wearing the same suit from 20 years ago, Billy. My God. You remember my wife, the evil one? I mean, say hello to me, Brother Billy. You remember him now. Now, wait a minute, that's enough of that. Enough of that. Billy, we just come in, you know. Now, I don't know, what kind of a party is this? I see all these people. I thought it was a bedtime party. You were supposed to be in our pajamas? No. No. Now, don't be handless. Okay, Billy. Now, you know, is your brother Georgie here? He must be my brother too, you know. Is that right? He is. Where is he? Is that you over there, Georgie, against the wall? Stay there. I never did like you anyway. There, hell of it. Who else? Is there anybody else here? Who's this fella here? Is he a friend of yours?
No, he's not a friend of mine.
Oh, that's good. That's good. He looks like a rascal, he does. He certainly does. Oh, and this. You're in fine company here. Well, where's me saying brother? Where's Mom? Where's Mom here? Where's Mom? Hello, Mom. It's been a long time since I've seen you, darling. Are you happy to see me, Mom? Say something. Say something. Say, darling. The last time I seen you, you gave me a belt, you did. Billy, I've been here 5 or 10 minutes now and I haven't had a drop to drink yet. All these were kind of cheap, you were. Just a little taste of this to settle me down. I get a little nervous. Oh my God, Billy, what is it? Tastes like Panther. You know what it tastes like, you do. You know, I just come over to attend the party, and I want to announce, Billy, you've really got something going, but you got to come out here. Get him a chair. Will you put you right here, Billy boy? Maybe you better take your jacket and your pants off. What we have here is live entertainment. And it's not me now. But coming through that door out there, I brought them with me. Straight from an engagement in Geordie's Tavern. And here they are, the Riverdale Queen.
This may come as a surprise, but that was not Michael Flatley. I know. Thanks, Mrs. Voss, for your other son. Congressman Tierney, you gave away my secret of going one serious and one funny, one serious. What do I do now?
Have someone funny.
That's good. Let's see what Representative Maselli's aide can do after that. This is Tara Coakley. Jim Maselli has announced tonight that he has a First Communion, I guess, and he has sent his very lovely, talented Tara Coakley outside giving some awards. Is going to do something special. Nope?
I don't know about that. I don't think I can compete with that.
Never mind. Okay. Tara Coakley.
Okay, what I'm going to do is read off the citations. I have a citation from the governor and a citation from Jim. And the governor's citation reads, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Agio Paul Salucci, to William Ross, in recognition of your achievement on receiving the Wilmington Good Guy Award, which is deserving of the recognition by all the citizens of Massachusetts, this 8th day of May in the year 1998. And the Commonwealth House of Representatives citation reads, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the House of Representatives, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to William Ross in recognition of your receiving the Wilmington Good Guy Award. The dedicated and unselfish service you have given the community is appreciated much by all. You are most deserving of this honor. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Given this 8th day of May, 1998, at the State House, Boston, Massachusetts, by Thomas M. Finneran, Speaker of the House, offered by Representative James R. Maselli, Vice Chairman.
Stand up a minute. Look at his forehead. Look at Doris. Bill. You can dress him up, but you can't take him out. Representing the Wilmington Knights of Columbus, the Grand Knight, Mr. Mike Fay.
Thank you, Harry. Being the Grand Knight, it's a pleasure to welcome you to the Knights of the Columbus, and the hall is always available for rental. And I want to remind you folks that Father Brown, it's always a pleasure to be with Father Brown, and he does have the power to close this room if he wants to. But as Grand Knight, I can open the bar. But seeing how Jim Hanley's sitting right next to it, watching the receipts again, that won't happen. Being the Grand Knight is an honor, and I'll tell you why. It's because there's guys like Bill Ross out there who, if I can steal Ken Michaud's term, are called silent knights. That you know during the year that there's functions, activities, events, and you can count on these silent knights to be there when you need them. And there's a list I keep that I know I can call, and Bill's on the list. I never had to call him. I had to call Frank Serraza many times. But it's with great pleasure to give Bill Ross this plaque from the Knights of Columbus. Congratulations, Sir Knight William Ross, 1999 winner of the Wilmington Good Guy Award. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. I just remembered before the dancing group came in, Bill got up and said, Harry, I got to go to the men's room. And I said, Bill, sit down, because they were gathered in the hall. So why don't we take a 2-minute break for Bill to go to the men's room? Bill? You don't go? It's too late. Too late. One of Bill's neighbors, Mr. Bob Evans, had something to say.
Oh, gee. I was going to the bathroom with him.
Well, you want to speak in the bathroom, Bob, or what? You got something to tell us about Bill?
Yeah, my pleasure. Hello, everybody. Glad to be here tonight. And I want to thank George for twisting my arm to make me come here tonight. I was going to stay home and rearrange my stock drawer tonight, as I usually do on Friday nights, but George said you better get here because there may not be many people here tonight. However, Bill, you have a lot of friends in Wilmington, Bill. Well deserved of that. I also want to say hi to my distinguished guests here at the table, Doris, Bill, Reverend Brown, Michelle, and Ben. I had a speech prepared tonight, but that was, geez, that kind of got screwed up because I found out I was on cable TV and Reverend Brown was going to be here tonight, so here's that speech. I had to revert to plan number 2, Bill, for PG and TV, you know. But as most of you can imagine, I live across the street from Bill Ross in Wilmington here on Wedgwood Avenue, and it's quite an adventure living across the street from Bill Ross, let me tell you. Never a dull moment. Where am I going to go with this, Bill? I have no idea, Bill. Let me just give you a quick picture here. As most of you might have known, Bill had just put an addition on his house, but some of us call it a pyramid. He's got a big, giant picture window there in a new addition, about a pitching wedge, Bill, from my front lawn. And as you know, Bill, my last pitching wedge shot went through your front window. So as most of you can imagine, when someone breaks a window with a golf ball, the first thing you do, being a good, solid citizen from Everett like I am, I run like hell. I try to blame a little kid. There was nobody in the neighborhood that day, and I couldn't blame anybody. I had to own it to myself. My wife was bullshit. That's my first swear, Bill. Damn it, I was gonna not try not to swear. Oh well. Sorry, Reverend. Anyways, Bill, it's a gorgeous addition to your house, Bill. It also blocks the sun from my house. You know, that's why all my grass is dead in front of the house, Bill. You're always telling me to put more water on it, Bob. For Christ's sake, Bill, there's no sun there. Anyways, another swear. Damn it. No, we actually all love Bill, however. We have the whole neighborhood's over here, Bill. We wave all to him, they're over there. I'm actually surprised they come up. I'm not sure if they want to evict you or commend you, Bill, one or the other. But I also want to talk about every time, we all know when Bill's done with a job. As you know, Bill's a construction guy. He builds and renovates projects and whatever. And we all know when Bill's all done with a project, all the trash and extra stuff comes to my house at Bob Stone's garage. And by the way, Bill, Bob told me to tell you, Bill, he has no more room in the garage. The garage is full. And about that fishing trip, Bill, never again. George, thank you for mentioning that. Never again, Bill. You also want to comment, Bill, on several other things. Once again, some of the finer points of Bill Ross is that he's just a fantastic individual. Living across from Bill for the past 12 years has been a pleasure, and I've been welcomed into Bill's house many times, and I've been honored to live there, Bill. Thank you. And believe it or not, don't laugh. It's really a pleasure. It's a trip too, but it's a pleasure. I can tell you a story about one time I was putting a basketball pole in my backyard for my son several years ago, and the first cement mix I put in the ground was quick cement. Of course, I pour it in the ground if you have a beer, of course, they're hard and real fast. So so much for that. So I have to dig another hole and then put another bag in. And then Bill pulled up and says, "Hey, Bob, did you put any rocks in there?" I says, "I am now, Bill." Whatever Bill says, I do. Without hands down, hands down. But it's great to live across the street from Bill Ross. It's always a cold beer and a hot day when I'm out working on my cars, which I frequently am. I drive junk boxes, so I'm frequently working on my cars, and Bill's the first guy to help you out with a cold beer or a nice glass of St. Brendan's Irish cream in the wintertime when I'm shoveling snow. And also, Bill, I have a little Irish tribute here, Bill, I'd like to say to you, Bill. This is an Irish tribute, and it goes like this. It says, "God then made man, the Italian for music and art, the French for fine food, the German for intelligence, the Swedes for their beauty, the Jews for their religion," and on, until he looked at what he had created and said, "This is all very fine, but no one's having any fun. I guess I'll have to make me an Irishman named Bill Ross." Okay? So, thank you.
As I mentioned tonight, Bill is not a joiner of many civic groups, but he has done an awful lot of work for the Lions Club. And the King Lion is here tonight to present Bill with an award. But while Matt Cain is on his way up, you'll notice there's some centerpieces on the table. Now, I was not given instructions on how they're going to be awarded, and I'm sure everybody out there wants a picture of little Emily. So I've come up with an idea. The centerpiece goes to the person at the table that looks most like Bill Ross. And for those people who are not blessed that way, Doris will send you a picture anyway. King Lion of Wilmington, Matt Cain.
Before I make the presentation for the Alliance Club, I have to elaborate on that fishing trip to hell, I'll tell you. You know, I'm the one that spent the $60 on the lures. Well, I was just putting on the last lure after I paid the $60th dollar. And the captain of the boat says, "Okay, everybody pull your lines up." So I pull the line up, and we move for about 15 minutes. He says, "Okay, everybody drop their lines." Now, there's 150 fishermen around this boat. Everybody else drops their line, and Bill says, "I'm going to cast." Well, it was a beautiful cast, but the damn lure went in my head. So the deckhand comes running over. He says, "I'm going to cut it out." He says, "You are like hell. I paid $60 for that lure." So just as a little remembrance, I'm sick of looking at this damn lure. I'm going to give it to Bill so he can hang it on his wall. There it is. Here you go, Bill. You steer at it and remember that trip forever. Now to get a little serious. The Wilmington Lions Club presents to Bill Ross in grateful appreciation for many years of voluntary service. May 8, 1998. Thank you, Bill.
I hope that was funny, because the next few minutes I'll be serious. A few years ago, there was a song very popular in the market. It was written by a fellow named Larry Henley and Jeff Silber. It was written for the country motif and was recorded by Gary Morris, and then it was made popular by Bette Midler. And it was called "Wind Beneath Our Wings." Now, a lot of people heard that and thought it was a love song, but it wasn't. It was a story of how one person seems to bask in glory and flies like an eagle, and behind them is a person who creates the wind. In 1990, there was a fellow nominated good guy here in Wilmington, and when he got up after all the accolades, he thanked his friends who helped him become the good guy. And as he thanked them all, those many, And he was humble, but he was thanking his friends. And one name kept popping up as being an excellent friend in the wind beneath his wings. Well, nothing was said at that time. And now 8 years later, we have another good guy, Bill Ross. And Bill is faced with the same thing. He surrounds himself with good guys. And one of the good guys who surrounded Bill and helped him soar was the same guy who helped this guy in 1990. When they said that the church roof was repaired, it was a two-man job. Only two men. Two strong men, two intelligent men knew what they were doing. When the kitchen was being cleaned up, it was more than Bill Ross, it was another fellow with him. When one of the neighbors' homes was slipping into the swamp, Bill Ross was there, but he also had a lieutenant. And this lieutenant sitting right beside me, Matt King. So on behalf, not to take the limelight from Bill, but behind every good guy, there's a whole bunch of others, and this one's exceptional. And the Good Guy Committee, for the first time ever, is giving out an award. It's called the Wind Beneath the Wings. And it's a good guy's good guy, Matt Cain, 1998.
I don't know what to say, guys. Thank you very much.
Barry?
Bill has some nephews and nieces here. I don't know their names. I don't know how many there are. I hope there's some of you. And they want to make a presentation to Uncle Bill. So nephew and nieces. Bill, why don't you identify these nephews and nieces for us?
Laurie.
So tell the microphone, Bill.
Laurie. Teresa. Jeannie. Ralphie.
Jeannie.
My cut. This is Danny. I apologize, I'm nervous.
Well, on behalf of all of the nieces and nephews for Uncle Bill, we knew that there were many people here tonight that were going to be giving him gifts, and we thought that, I'm sorry, did you hear that? We thought that we wanted to be a part of that as well. He has done so much for all of us. He really and truly has been such a wonderful uncle, and we wanted to give a gift to him. So when he wears this, people will know that he is a good guy and he also is a great uncle. So this is for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I apologize, I forgot Gina.
Oh, Gina.
I'm sorry.
No, don't worry about it.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Laurie. Uncle Bill needs a jacket to let everybody know he's a good guy. Only kidding. The state senator left early. Mr. Bruce Tarr apologized and had another meeting. He was nice enough to show up. But he also left because he knew that someone was here to fill in his stead. And that fellow is the former state senator, a good senator, a good guy, a man who's always been loyal to the Good Guy Committee. He shows up rain or shine. He must be sick of eating chicken. But every Good Guy Committee presentation he's here unofficially because he's not the state senator anymore, but he's filling in for Bruce Tarr, and he's going to make the presentation on behalf of the Senator Tarr. Mr. Buell, Mr. Bob Buell. I hope he speaks better than he walks. That's it, yeah.
General Douglas MacArthur said that old soldiers never die, they just fade away, and I thought maybe that old senators would also never die and fade away. And here I am, coming off the bench again for my successor, Bruce. He does apologize because he had a couple of commitments earlier, and then he's an auctioneer tonight, Bill, and he's apologizing that he's not staying. Well, let's get over I should know this by heart, but it's been so long now since I've done it. But it's the Senate official citation, and it's extending congratulations to William Ross in recognition of your nomination of the Good Guy Award in the town of Wilmington, and it's signed by Thomas Birmingham, the Senate President, and offered by Bruce Tarr today on May 8th. So let me start off by presenting this to you. Now, my wife and I really do appreciate the invitation, that you haven't forgotten us, and we love joining you. We just sort of wish other towns could copy you. And I want to thank particularly Bob and Judy DePalma for extending the invitation again. My wife has taken off this morning for Moncton, New Brunswick, to visit her 95-year-old uncle. I'm sure if she'd been home, she probably wouldn't have let me come in this outfit that I'm wearing tonight. And Bill, I'm going to have to break with tradition. It seems to me, in the years that I've been coming to this function, I've always managed to hand out one of the Bob Buell combs to each one of the recipients. And tonight, we're going to break with tradition, mostly because they're collector's items and I've run out. So, as some of the people know, I play a lot of ice hockey. And we have a team that represents Massachusetts and Boston. We're known as the Boston Moby Dicks. As a matter of fact, these are I think, the Harvard colors that we wear. And we were successful this year in winning the Mass Senior Games down in Quincy and Fitchburg. So I thought tonight, knowing that you were a skier, I wanted to present you something that you could wear under those ski jackets when it really gets cold. I looked at your outfits over here, and I thought this may go well, except in the more swish resorts. This is from the Mass Senior Games, and I hope it'll keep you warm for many winters to come. And my congratulations to you and your family.
Thank you very much.
That go with Debbie fine. Thank you, Ron.
Mr. Buell? Mr. Buell? Can I turn in my comb and get one of those jerseys?
Next year.
Okay. We're running to the end of the program, and there's another good friend of Bill's who would like to say a few words. I think this is kind of embarrassing because I know Bill owes this man money. So I don't know what's going to come of this, but John LaRock? Go get him.
Bill, when George asked me a few days ago if I wanted to speak this evening, I had said to him, no, that's all right, George, I'll pass. And then I was thinking about that, and I said, you know, I kind of wish I had, you know, said yes. And then Harry walked up to me tonight and asked me if I did. And I said, yeah, Harry, I would like to just say a few things. I haven't had the privilege of knowing you as long as I know a lot of your friends have here, but it's been about, I guess, 8 years now that Sylvia and I have known you. And, you know, in my work career, I've met a lot of people, and I've got to know a lot of people. And I can honestly say that I have never met a person that's more beautiful and genuine than yourself. And I wanted to I just wanted to share that with my feelings with everybody here tonight, and to tell you that the only regret that I have is that I haven't known you for 18 or 28 or 38 years. But I look forward to knowing you and sharing a lot of years ahead and I just wanted to say that to you.
Thank you.
Gonna get another fishing trip up.
But that translates into, Bill, that he's not paying you back the money. Woo! Was that smooth? The next presentation is for the Sons of Italy. We did allow one Italian into the hall tonight, Bill. A token Italian. Two. Mrs. Evelyn Oliveri.
And Harry, for all you know, we have changed Bill Ross in many ways. I believe we were at Bertucci's. There was me, there was Bill Doris, his daughter and son-in-law, and his mother-in-law. And when the waitress came out, she said, I will have the Rossi party. So we have changed him. Bill, it does give me great pleasure to represent the Sons of Italy. Thank you. Thank you.
You're allowed 3 minutes. The former good guy last year, the good guy, good girl, Phyllis Vieira, is going to make a presentation. She has a 4-page speech in Spanish. But before it's my sister laughing. She thinks I'm funny. But before we do that, one thing was left unsaid about Bill Ross. He is a man that gives, and he continues to give, and give, and give, and give, even when you don't want to receive. Bill gives. Having Bill as a friend means you'll be receiving something any day and night, any time of day and night. Bill knocks on your door with something he thinks you need. The lovely lady to my left is going to, there's a few gifts here tonight that would like to return, Bill. And Mrs. Cunningham has the first one. Go around it. Go around. Do as you're told. Faster. How many jars of Piccalilli can you have in a week? It's coming out our ears. We give them as Christmas gifts, and we still got a supply that lasts forever. Does anybody else, if you have one, just one at a time, if you got a gift that you'd like to bring back? Something you really always wanted that Bill would... hold it in the back, one at a time. Let's see what they are as he brings them up.
Excellent hat box.
Hat box.
It's in perfect condition.
You wanted this. No.
No.
That's not bad. Piccadilly hat box. Here's another one. Oh, painting. These are real gifts that Bill gives out.
Vintage floral arrangement.
This is real, ladies and gentlemen. He gives these gifts out. It's an exerciser.
Hey, Uncle Bo, I got my police siren home. It's a full-size Central Elvis.
The infamous beer signs that Bill hands out. says thanks, Bill. Chances are someone else will be getting these back tomorrow morning. So keep your doors locked. Now, as far as we're concerned, we have only Phyllis left, unless I've missed someone out there. Does anybody have something to say? Father Brown, one more time? We'll pass that plate. Anybody want to say something more again? No. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, last year's good guy, Mrs. Phyllis Vieira.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Bill?
Don't whisper. Don't whisper.
Okay. I would just like to say thank you for such a wonderful night, and I'm glad I am passing my file over to you from Jim Buckley. It's your turn now.
So I got a speech to make next. I have a speech to make next year
Not
too.
yet.
Yes. But I have a small gift that I would like to give to you. I found out that you were a carpenter. I tried to find you a carpenter's hat. Then I remembered that you and your wife took country western dance lessons. Tried to find you a country western hat, but I wasn't sure of your size, but I hope this will suffice.
Good guy cap.
So you can wear that with your good guy jacket.
1998.
No, don't go away. It's my honor to present you with your good guy plaque for 1998. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That's the last of the presenters. And before the dreaded moment Bill's been waiting for, he's going to have to say something. But before that happens, there is a book here tonight, a guest book that I'd like everyone to sign as a memento for Bill. And also the good guys would stay around for the annual picture taken with the new member, Bill Ross. And so with this great pleasure, I introduce the good guy for 1998 from the town of Wilmington, Mr. William Ross.
Around the room and I see so many friends that came to honor me. I just don't feel worthy of it. The clergy comes, honorary officials, people I've loved and respected all my life. I'm just humbled by it. I just can't comprehend it. I want to thank you all for just considering Bill Ross in this world. But there are many Bill Rosses. They're all out there. There's a lot of good people, and I think this group here represents probably the best in Wilmington. I want to thank my family. If I am a good guy, I want to thank my family for making one. My friends for making one. My brother George for all his guidance, and especially my loving wife Doris, and my daughter Michelle. Once again, we as the Ross family, all of us, thank you very much for this honor, and I'm hoping I'm worthy of it. Thank you.
One more time. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Good Guy Committee and the Ross family, I want to thank you very much for the excellent turnout, the fine attention you gave us tonight, and thanks again on behalf of the Ross family, as I say. Have a good evening. See you next year. Bye-bye.